Today's lesson is on Chapter 11, Section 1, Square Roots. First, the definition of a square root. It is the inverse of squaring a number. So basically the opposite of squaring a number. And the symbol looks like this. That means the square root of, and then the number would be in here. So since it's the inverse of squaring a number, let's take a look at what squaring a number is. Remember that would be something like 4 squared, 4 to the second power. And that means that you're taking the base 4 and multiplying it by itself 2 times because that's our exponent. So 4 times 4 equals 16. So the opposite of that is taking the square root. So now let's take the square root of 16. So you think in your head, what times itself equals 16? Well, 4, because 4 times itself, 4 times 4 is equal to 16. That's a square root. Now if you have something like this that's called a perfect square, you'll get a whole number for an answer, but what if you don't have a perfect square? For example, the square root of 8. So let's take a look at our perfect squares. Obviously this is not all of them, but these are your perfect squares because the square root of 1 is 1, the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 16 is 4, the square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of 36 is 6. So here's our first 6 perfect squares. So we want to look at where the square root of 8 would fit in here. Well, the square root of 8 would obviously be somewhere between 4 and 9, between the square root of 4 and the square root of 9, because 8 is between 4 and 9. Okay, so the square root of 8 is going to be between the square root of 4 and the square root of 9. Obviously 8 is closer to 9, so that means that the square root of 8 will be closer to the square root of 9 than it is to the square root of 4. And now let's figure out the square root of 4 is 2 and the square root of 9 is 3. Therefore the square root of 8 is going to be closest to 3. 2 point something, maybe 2.9, 2.8, somewhere in there. I don't even know the exact answer. You would need a calculator to get the exact answer. But if it's saying what whole number is the square root of 8 closest to, that would be 3. And that's all for today, guys. Bye-bye.